So here we go. Time to start this. The first thing that I wanted to do was make a mock-up of how big Bowser was according to where I would fit inside of the main body part. And let me tell you, it's going to be about 10 feet tall, which is going to be awesome. So I have to do a bunch of scaling. So what I'm going to start with is the feet and kind of do the body, work up to the head, maybe figure some stuff out. I really just need to get some feet and the legs built so that I know if this will actually work. I'm sure it'll work. Stay tuned. So this bad boy is about 3 1/8, and the way I figured it out is that it should be 10 feet tall. So we got to do our math from 3 1/8 to 10 feet, and then that'll give us our conversion rate. So there's kind of the idea. My head's going to line up right with the nose, and then my feet will be about, I don't know, 1.5 feet off the ground. So now I just got to figure out how big to make those feet. By the size of the foot on the guy, things are going to be huge. So the big size me is going to be 120 inches over 3 1/8, which will give you 38.4 inches per inch, and then 4.8 inches per eighth of an inch. So after some quick math, this foot is going to be gigantic, over 2 feet wide and over 3 feet long. Oh, Bowser, you're the king. So to save on weight, I think I'm going to cut a big section out of the middle here. It's going to be weird. So we're going to have the stilt point right around here, and then my foot is going to have to be right around where the 37 is actually, and we're going to somehow make it tilt over, and so we'll need some bracing, maybe some welding, but this basic shape is going to be plywood. I'm going to make the toes out of foam, and then hopefully that'll be enough base to...
Let me just take this moment to say it wasn't.
...build the foot off of. And as long as I got my weight over this point, that should be okay. I hope. We'll see how she goes. So yeah, there we go. I made this one first, and I didn't really like it that much. So I remade it like that, and I think that represents the king a little bit better. I don't think I'm going to leave the toes on, and I think I'm going to cut a hole in them because I think trying to lift that much plywood up off the ground will create a big suction area. So it'll make stepping just that much harder. But we got ourselves a shape, and I already cut another one out. So I'll put them down on the ground and figure out some stilts, I guess. So we got a pile of wood here with our intention of making a exosuit to hold up the Bowser costume. Now, I was on YouTube, and I've been watching this guy called James Burton for a real long time now. He's actually building a powered exosuit, and it's amazing. It's freaky how cool this thing is. But I'm going to go a little different route. I'm just going to use some springs because I'm going to be the power. So I got myself a whole bunch of lightweight aluminum, and bits of studding, and my snowboard. This one's pretty messed up. I kind of broke it on both ends. I don't know how, don't ask me, but it happened. we got these old crappy bindings, and that's what we're going to use to strap my feet in. Hopefully next time you see this metal, it's going to be looking somewhat like a couple of legs. Okay, let's get to it. So we got all 8 of those. And now we're going to cut some of this square tubing to fit from there to there, and there to there. And that's going to make up the main support of the leg. So there's my 2 sections of the upper and lower leg. Couldn't have asked for any better. So I got to drill a hole in for a bearing to fit right in there on each of these things. I tried using an 1.1/8 bit, like a bit like this, but it was too small and I just couldn't get it to work. But an 1.25 is way too big, and they don't really make like in-betweeners for these things. So I'm going to have to grind this one down and just go as is. So here's the 2 sections of legs put together. They bend and actually fit me pretty good. Now the next step is to put a saddle for the feet and a saddle for the top, and then parallel linkages all the way down. So yeah, we got the knee joints going on. This is where the parallel linkage is going to hook up to. And then we need feet down here, and we need hips up here. Those are the hips back there, and those are the feet. Got some feet. So the axle's going to go through there, and then the linkages are going to go through there. So there's the hip, the upper leg, the knee, the lower leg, and the foot. This thing is awesome. All right. Okay, so we got our leg pretty much done. The only thing left that I want to do is put something from here to here and here to here so that it can only squat down yay much, right? But check this out. This is pretty cool. That's the parallel linkage. Keeps this and this always the same, no matter what position the leg is in. Oh man, this thing is awesome. Where did I keep that extra wood? Where did I keep that extra? yeah. Hey. Okay, I got it all together. Take you on through her. My foot, knee, hip joint, my back placement, the other hip joint, the other hip, the other knee, the other foot. So this is all connected no matter how it goes. This foot's going to stay in the right spot because of these linkages down here. Got the strength. The only other thing I might do is put a piece from here to here. I don't think I need to, but we'll see how it goes. Time to hang it from the roof. Alright, we've achieved success. Now, she doesn't stand up on its own at all. It's really wobbly, but that's just because none of the end stops are in place. There's going to be a piece coming off of here, getting stopped on the back. It's going to be a piece stopping it from wiggling. Well, it already stops that way, but it'll stop it from the legs bending up like this. And then we're going to put some end stops. One from the knee down to the toe, and then one from the heel up to the butt, pretty much. And that will be able to make it so that it will have a stance. Now this part is where I'm going to mount the tail to. And that's going to be kind of my third axis of movement, and there's going to be a wheel on there. And hopefully that'll be enough to keep this thing from falling over. Oh yeah, it's going to be about 20 inches in the air too. Okay, so next problem is I want it to squat down, but I don't want it to just go all the way. So I'm thinking I get something like this and something like this. So when it's like this, it'll be all the way extended, and the tube will be long enough so that it'll never be able to come out. But when it's like this, when it's all bent down, it's gonna be a stopper on the thing, and then it'll kind of go like that. Yeah. Maybe. That's the idea. So this is what I devised for the feet. Snowboard bindings, a piece of plywood. Now the main stilt is going to be here, which is a lot of force acting on there, but we're going to get a little metal bracket for underneath, I think. So that's how that's going to sit. Just glue and screw her on. And then I can put my attachment points on for what I'm dubbing the stancers. That's a stancer. Okay, we had a mild bit of success here. This leg is standing up on its own. There's the hook that I had. And it still has a very good range of motion once I get it to actually move. see how it goes. It's still very back heavy, so it probably will fall over. And this thing is not really doing much to stop that. But we will have more success with that soon. So as you can see, we've got her pretty much skookumed. Got my snowboard bindings down there. We got the whole leg all done. We put some bushings in here to make everything all nice and tight so that it doesn't want to wiggle this way too much. We've got all of our linkages put on. We even got the stancers done down on the back here. Right here, that'll keep it from falling over, and it is like really sturdy. Also on the back I put these things to stop it from falling over, but still it can rotate, and it can lean this way a little bit and lean this way a little bit. It's got a little bit of play, and that's all we want because we don't want to have to move a whole bunch. Keeping the nuts tight has been an issue, but I can either lock nut them or double nut them. Yeah, the only thing I'm worried about now is putting it up on stilts. So this is what I came up with for the day. We're going to need another set of stilts on the bottom. And I think we're going to use a bunch of this stuff that came off of that as brackets to hold the outside of the foot where it needs to be. And after that, I think I'm going to have to drill some holes in it to get the weight down. But as far as walking around goes, it is really good. So I don't know how it's going to be with the stilts. But the whole idea with the parallel linkage is to be able to keep the feet flat at all times instead of having to point your toe and stuff. So as long as I can get the feet off the ground, then I can walk in it, I'm sure. And like I said, it's going to be much easier once I devise a thing that'll put that on my shoulders. On top of that, I'm going to have try and have most of the weight on the tail with like a spring system, which will help keep everything off the ground. Right now it's hanging off the roof. I wonder how tall it is. So right now it's in the squatted down position. It grows like another 7 or 8 inches. We are at 8'2". So right now if I stand up fully, it'd probably be about 9 feet. So I made this little name tag for my costume. Just a little bit of unnecessary extra weight, but it looks pretty cool. Alright, so my boy's on its legs. We got an angle piece holding that. And I'm not quite satisfied with the 90 degrees of that, but we're going to adjust that later. Right now I got all these angle brackets holding everything on proper. And hopefully that'll be enough. I think I'm going to cut this off because originally the plan was to put the stilts under here. But that's not going to happen anymore. just because of how it works out. I used 1-inch long screws and it's only 3/8 plywood, so they're sticking out the bottom. So I'm not going to go jumping on this thing because it'll just pop all these screw heads right out. So I got to flip it over right now and cut all those off. And then I think I'm ready to try and go for a walk in this thing, if it's not too heavy. It is pretty tall. It's touching the roof right now. Okay, test one. Let's see if I can do this. Oh, that's a lot more solid than I thought it would be. Hitting the roof. Oh man, that isn't hard at all. Oh, I'd say this is a successful test. So here's the full height, this mark right here. That's where my head is. This is where my shoulders go. It's approximately where my necks are, or the comfortable spot where it would be most like a backpack. Now that point where my head is 8 feet in the air. So 96 divided by 40 is 2.4 inches. 2.4 inches. 2.4 inches gets me right underneath this spike here, which is pretty much exactly where I want to be. That's right in line with his eyeballs, which means I'll be able to look out of his mouth. So now I got to figure out where the door goes, and where my back piece goes, and all that fun stuff. So this concludes part 1 of the Bowser build. Stay tuned for part 2, where I do the overstructure and then start working on the shell. Maybe some more stuff. I'm not quite sure where I'll get to. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, all that fun stuff, and keep on keeping on. Thank you. This thing is awesome. Everything moves where it should and doesn't where it shouldn't. As long as I can get it up and move it. As long as I can get it up. Oh, excuse me. Frosty. I am drunk right now.